Today we are going to be doing tessellations. Now, tessellations, as you will see below, I've written here 2D shapes which can tessellate, which means that there are 2D shapes which, when repeated over and over again, we use that same pattern over and over again, they can cover a flat surface, leaving no gaps or spaces with no overlapping. So please remember that that's very important to remember that criteria of shapes which can tessellate. All right, now I'm going to show you some examples on the next slide or two. Some examples, and please I want you to look out for the shapes that have been repeated over and over again and try to identify what they are. Have a look. All right, now the first one on the left top, can you see? That is a floor, and can you see that there are tiles that have been used on this floor? Another way of saying tessellations or tessellating is when people say to tile. And when we put tiles on, we know that they repeat the same shapes over and over, and they also don't overlap. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the next. Of course, that's a square. Squares have been repeated over and over. Now let's look at the next one on the top right now. What shape is that? Can you see those are also tiles? Those are on a bathroom wall. Now those tiles there, the shape that is being used to tessellate there, can you recognize it? It's a little bit longer than a square. Can you see? Two sides are a bit longer. That's right, it's a rectangle. Let's look at the left-hand bottom now. That's a floor, and can you see those are squares, but they've been turned at a different angle so that they almost look like diamonds. Isn't that effective to turn them around like that? And then the very last one I have here on this slide on the bottom right, can you see the bricks? It's a brick wall. It's called face brick, and it makes a very effective decorative wall. And of course that shape is, of course, rectangles again, but they have been used so that they are not directly beneath one another. They're kind of a little bit, they move a little bit to the side each row, which makes a very effective pattern as well. Let's look at the next slide now. All right, now, here on the left, I've got a bedspread. Isn't that pretty? They've used two shapes there. Can you see? Can you identify them? The small squares, the tiny little squares, as well as, let's just show you here the tiny little squares there. Can you see them? They've been repeated over and over. And then, of course, these larger shapes over here, which don't have an actual name because they're not geometric shapes. Isn't that very effective? Let's have a look at this next shape here now on the right, which is this one over here. Can you see these shapes are very, very pretty. And can you see how they've been repeated over and over and over again? Very, very effectively as well. Some of them are slightly different. These here, for instance, go out there, and these come in there. So isn't that pretty? And there are two shapes that have been used, 2D shapes. Once again, they are not geometric shapes, so they don't actually have a name. And then let's look at this bottom one here now. This one on the bottom here, right-hand side. Can you see this is a floor? It's a very, very pretty floor over here, and it's called laminated flooring. And can you see these rectangles have been used almost like the bricks to make a very pretty shape? Okay, so now that you know what it is to tessellate, you are going to do your own tessellating patterns and your own tessellation patterns. And you're going to use your own shapes that you'd like to use. So I hope that you really have fun, and please try to be as creative as you can in your use of color and shapes. Remember to use one or two geometric shapes, and then you're going to see the information in the rest of the lesson. Enjoy it.